The only time I'm out of my shell is when I'm probably teaching, but that's because it's little kids.
With like 30 kids that you're well, you probably only have like what 20 kids in a class?
Not even.
Not even.
17's the most.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it doesn't feel.
But you have to.
Half of them aren't listening. So it's like.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, that's kind of how it goes. This is the Complete Athlete Podcast where we get you your next level in your sport and in life, that sport being softball today. We talk a lot about baseball and football and everything, but we're talking softball today. We got Coach Julia, our head softball instructor here on staff. How are we doing today, Julia?
Not too bad.
Awesome to have you here. She's really nervous, guys, but you know how it goes here. It just turns into a conversation anyways, but kind of how we usually do these is first learn a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your journey as a youth athlete all the way from when you were little, when you first started learning how to play and all that different stuff. And I know you have a softball dad, so he probably threw softball at you like right out of the womb. So
yeah, so I started out in T-ball at Brooklyn Center Little League.
Okay.
So I did a year of that, and then my pulled me up 2 years, so I played on my brother's team.
Yeah.
Didn't like baseball.
You didn't at all?
No.
Really?
Yep. Okay. So then I went into slow pitch for like 2 years through Brooklyn Park. And then my dad was like, yeah, you're going to go into fast pitch. So then he made me a pitcher.
Okay. He made you?
Yeah. He was like, you're going to be the pitcher. So I went to like softball clinics with like Angie Reckner. She played for the Gophers.
Okay.
So me and my best friends would go to that after like our basketball tournaments.
Where was this at?
Like Grace Church out in Fridley.
Oh yeah.
Down 65.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then played traveling softball through Brooklyn Park till I was like 16, and then played for a team my dad and Coach Ruska, he coached at Osseo, made a team with Osseo kids and Park Center kids.
Okay.
And then one TG kid.
There you go.
And
that was you?
Yep. We were called the Minnesota Shock. And it wasn't like the like traveling
like we got going on right back here right
where
now?
You pay thousands of dollars. Like we had like T-shirts as jerseys, practice once a week. It was just to have fun.
Yeah. Would you play against those teams though?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't really like us because
Why?
we just we would show up 45 minutes, warm up, laugh. Didn't take it serious, but not like too
like
serious.
It's a job. Yeah.
Yeah. And we would just come out and beat them all the time.
Nice.
And
there
then it was like great. And then played high school softball at TG, where
for
my
dad
coached me.
Yeah, that's fun.
Loved
it. I loved him having him be my coach. So I played shortstop for 4 years there, and then I went on and played college ball where I became an outfielder.
There you go. Yeah, and so when you're a youth, like I know how it is with because we have some Brooklyn Park kids in the program and things like that, and Champlin, and so when you're a youth for baseball, I know it's Brooklyn Park, Osseo. Some kids end up going to, the boundaries are super weird, so it's kind of cool how you guys formed a team. How old were you then when you did the Minnesota Shock?
16, around there, and we all played against each other
during high school season.
And then kind of growing up because Osseo Maple Grove had their own association for softball.
Oh yeah.
So we would play them, but then I would play with all the Brooklyn Park Center kids.
Yeah, and then you went to Totino, so
Yeah,
then you
went to-
just the outcast from there.
Yeah.
Yep, I know how it feels with that because I did the same thing with Blaine Spillane Park, and then
he
playing
abandoned
with
us.
Totino.
Gabe left me. I'm still hurt.
Gabe left me. We didn't even play on the same team freshman
No,
year.
that's
though.
the thing. Like
We played the same VFW
we
that
would
summer,
have
though.
played basketball together. But
Oh
then
yeah,
you left, and then you played against me that year.
I know, and we kicked your butt.
Well, we were leading at half. We were up by 10.
Oh yeah, I don't remember that.
The best
but-
part is we put in our starters, and then he beat our starters.
Yeah, that was fun. I transferred halfway through the year at Totino, my 10th grade year,
Oh, I
because
didn't
I was
know
at Spillane Park first. And so I transferred, and I was on with literally the 10th grade team. It was like me, Nick Carr, Alex Wagner. Like I don't know if you know
yeah,
those
I remember
names.
them.
But literally, they were actually, and this isn't like piping me up or anything, but they weren't doing that well the whole year. And I went to literally, I was deciding I was transferring. And then I literally went to a game at Wayzata High School, watched their game, and they were like on a 5-game losing streak.
Well,
Show
I mean,
up.
we
The rest of the year, we won 11 games in a row, and
we
it was pretty fun.
notoriously I remember freshman year we beat them with you.
Yeah.
And in travel ball we were killing them every single.
Yeah. Well, traveling, they only had a 9th grade
Right.
traveling team for 15s, and that's
But then
about it.
when we played them that 9th grade year, it was me, Carl, and Bryce Williams just going
yeah.
off on Totino, and then the
Oh,
next
yeah.
year I'm playing against Gabe in a game, and then
Those were always fun years.
Yeah.
Our traveling years, like youth ball, my dad and Sam Meyer's dad, because they were at St. John's, he would get all the St.
Oh,
John's.
Buck.
Yeah, Buck. Yeah, Buck Meyer. They would get all the St. John's kids and bring them over to Westwood Middle School and scrimmage our traveling team because
Yeah.
they were trying to get ready for high school and everything. And we'd actually have some pretty competitive teams, and all the Spillane Park guys hated
when I
them
first came to
because
Spring
it's
Lake
private
Park,
school versus
I
like.
watched that. I watched your guys' scrimmage.
Oh, you probably did because you probably got done with school and it was like around 6
But it was
p.m.
also
in the
because
evening.
I was
It
the
was super-
A team and the B team. We didn't practice together. I was on Carl's team.
Yeah.
So our practice had just got done, and this was my
Yeah.
second day with with that team. And I was watching you guys. I
Yeah.
was like, these guys are so much better.
Well, we'd been playing with each other since 5th
Yeah,
grade.
and
so.
it's kind of the tale of two halves. As soon as
Yeah, because you moved from Coon
yeah,
Rapids,
it's
so that's how
I felt
it goes.
bad for
but-
you guys.
Let's get back to Julia here. We're chatting about Julia. We went on a tangent. We shouldn't have. But do you have a funny story throughout your youth years and things like that? And then we'll get to your college ball years as well. Something that's really
just-
memorable. It doesn't even have to be funny.
Well, honestly, this is way youth, but we
Awesome.
won the 10U nationals with
What?
just my Brooklyn Park team. Yeah, I
Really?
mean it was nationals, but it was in Buffalo, so we didn't
Okay.
it didn't travel out of state.
Yeah.
But you played all the top Minnesota teams.
Okay.
And couple of those girls that are on the team are my absolute best friends still. Do
That's
everything
awesome.
together. So that's a memory. We
Lifelong,
have pictures.
yeah, lifelong
downstairs.
friendships, and you have those trophies probably.
Yeah,
and
same with basketball, won 2 state championships with
Really?
Osseo Maple Grove. Yeah.
Wow.
When I was in 5th grade and 8th grade. So when I first started traveling, and then when I ended traveling.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Those are some crazy accolades I don't have. We would be our traveling basketball team, we'd play literally win B tournaments, but A tournaments we'd barely win maybe a few games. Depends,
Yeah.
but I don't know. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. It was fun.
You got
I
the
missed
Mecca.
ya.
Yeah, you got the Mecca over there with Osseo Maple Grove, always good at sports and everything.
Got top athletes out in Osseo Maple Grove area.
Yeah, I mean that budding community now. It's Otsego with St. Michael now, and Andover. Andover's good in everything. It's ridiculous.
They used to have Osseo used to have a team, and then Maple Grove used to have their own team for basketball, and then in 7th grade, they combined Osseo Maple Grove to
Oh,
make
okay,
Omega.
super power.
Yeah, I think yeah,
Yeah.
because I think Osseo is getting smaller.
Oh, Osseo definitely is an
Yeah.
older community.
Oh yeah,
so
I love it.
I love it.
It's so cute down there.
Yeah, actually, the florist for our wedding was downtown
Oh, yeah.
Osseo, so we'd go there. And then she owned the coffee shop right next to it too, and we haven't gone to that yet, but we'll have to go check it out because I love we love little hole in the wall spots,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
old towns like St. Peter down by Mankato, and we just like that. I don't know why. That's probably why we live half hour north of here, not in the city.
Anoka.
Lavanoka was just down there last
Mm-hmm.
week. Yep. So back to you with why did you decide to keep pursuing softball after high school? This was years ago.
So I grew up, my mom played college softball and basketball for Anoka Ramsey when
Oh,
it was like a
sweet.
4-year school.
It was a 4-year school?
Yeah.
Really?
At one
I didn't
point,
know
I'm pretty
that.
Sure. And then I just like knew I wanted to keep playing like a sport, and I knew I loved basketball. Like I still love it today. But I knew I was better at softball.
Yeah.
So then I just followed in my brother's footsteps, and because he played college baseball, so I was like, I'm gonna play college softball.
Boom.
And like the funny thing is, like, he went to Iowa Lakes, and I went to go like watch a game with my dad. The softball, I was like, Dad, I'm never gonna play here. Like I don't want to play here. And they got a new coach, and then I was like, Dad, I'm gonna play there. I love this new coach. So yeah.
That's funny. So you went to Iowa Lakes.
Yep, I went to Iowa Lakes, played for Coach Katie, and I loved it there. It was small town, like
Yeah, what town is that in even?
it's in Esterville, Iowa. So
Never
it's
heard of it.
25 minutes from like Lake Okoboji in Spirit Lake.
Oh, yeah, that's a big party spot I've heard.
Yeah, so it's just in the middle of nowhere. The campus is like all athletes.
Yeah.
So it's like fun because you just know everybody.
Mm-hmm. That's how Jamestown was.
Yeah, made some like lifelong friends.
So you were
that
there
from
for
the
2
baseball.
years.
2 years,
Yeah.
yep. And then I went on and played at Northern State in Aberdeen, South Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
Another small town,
Yeah.
college town for sure.
Absolutely.
And played 2-ish years there. My senior year got cut with COVID.
Oh, how
And
fun.
yep. And so then I didn't go back for my COVID red shirt just because
Yep.
I was just listening to my body. Came off I had a broken thumb senior year.
Yeah, that's not fun.
And so then I was just like, yeah,
I'm done.
I need to just stop, and I can't go
Yeah.
on with injuries.
I was the same way. Like, I was always dealing with injuries, but my senior year, I just decided I'm, like, hanging it up because I just was working through too many of them, and I was ready to move on. And, you know, like, who's it? So it's so funny. I've told you this. Have you met Xander yet?
No,
He's down there right now.
Okay, maybe I'll after. Maybe.
He went to Iowa Lakes, and guess where he went after? Well, he went to Century now, but then he's going to Northern State next fall. So, like, I'm like, what? That's really weird.
He'll play with
Quinky
one of
dink.
my really good friends. He'll still be there.
Oh, really?
Yep.
What's his name?
Brendan Baxter. He's
Okay.
a pitcher
Cool.
from Rochester.
Okay. He's
Yeah.
Xander's like a utility guy, so I mean, he'll be playing a bunch of different positions, but I know the pitchers always hang out, and then they're the weird ones, and then the rest of the team does their own thing.
I'll just finish. Not at Northern.
Well, I'm not saying like outside of practices, but practices
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like you just hang out with your crew.
We would share like the PC dome. So baseball would
okay.
have one side, and we would have one side. And being in the outfield, you kind of like days off. So then like I would kind of turn around, and you would just see the pitchers all getting their stuff ready to leave.
Yeah, because you get to leave earlier.
Everyone else is just grinding out on the other side. It's like,
Yeah.
what would it be like to be a pitcher?
Yeah. Did you have any like two-way people for softball?
All of our pitchers except one.
Okay.
She just pitched.
Yeah.
Other
I
than
don't know
that,
how the
yeah,
baseball
who cares?
team was, but the higher levels you get up, the less there's two ways. But yeah, it's tough. Like for a two-way, you got to do so much. You got to do the pitcher stuff. You got to get your hitting in. You got to. It's a lot. So I stopped that after high school. Well, I played a little bit of shortstop my freshman year at Anoka Ramsey, but did you know a lot of us went to Anoka Ramsey? Like me, Sam Crick, who else? Sam Knight, who else? Or maybe it's just us three. Well, TK, who was on staff, but
They
he
might have
isn't
played
there.
my brother played Anoka Ramsey one time.
Really?
At I will. Well,
Oh, he played
Iowa
against
Lakes,
them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
against them.
Well, Knight's 23 right now. Mason, he played club ball at the U. And then, I don't know. Who was it? Crick was there 2012 to 2014.
Oh yeah, he's older than my brother.
Yeah, I'm older than
Yeah.
your brother too. But anywho, back to you. Have you had so you've been out of college for a few years. I know you're a teacher, right? Have you had any other jobs? Like, have you had a favorite job or least favorite job?
Yeah. So
I know you love teaching.
I
so.
love teaching. It's my favorite thing ever. So I had a job for 3 days.
Oh man, this must have been a really bad job.
Yeah, it was right after I graduated, and so I graduated with sports marketing and administration, but I originally was going to school for elementary ed, and those state tests, they just get you to become a teacher. They're hard. So I took a job in like sales for this one company.
Really?
Yep, and I shadowed for 3 days.
To be not named.
Yeah, we're not gonna name it. And I didn't enjoy it. Like I would.
Yeah.
After the 3rd day, I came home. I looked at my dad and my mom, and I just started bawling. I was like, I can't do this. Like I can't do it anymore. And then that same day, actually, I got a call from St. Raphael's where I teach now, and they had a preschool job opening. I was like, wow, this is kind of meant to be. And
there you go.
I grew up going.
That's where you went, right?
My dad and my aunt and uncle went there.
Okay.
But they have like this big festival, so I grew up around like St. Raphael's.
Yeah.
And
where is it? Crystal, right?
Yep, Crystal. And my godfather teaches there, so I just like was like, I think this is meant to be in that school. For
Absolutely.
A reason.
And then what grades? So that was preschool job. What do you work with now?
So now I do K through 8 Phi Ed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fun.
I'm sure they're just running around and
yeah, I love it. It's so fun. The kids are awesome.
Oh, I bet. No, I still remember going to that gym when I played for Epiphany, and that little tiny gym.
It has not changed
at all.
Still tile floors, low ceilings.
And then they have the stage there still.
Yep, the stage is still there.
Goodness.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
No, literally, like I would go. My sister would play her basketball games, and she was 5 years older than me. So I'd go to those games, and there'd be people cheering. I'm like, how do we get this many people in this tiny gym?
Yeah, it's like a big family there. Like teachers come to like a lot of the games.
Yeah.
Like parents of just different students will come. So it kind of gets like sometimes it gets full in there, and it's like,
oh yeah,
what the heck? How are we filling all these people? But put chairs on the sidelines and
make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We call it the Dave.
The Dave.
Yeah.
The gym is called the Dave.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
So I share Phi Ed with Mr. Johnson, Dave Johnson, and he's been teaching there for
forever.
Like he taught my dad.
Oh wow.
And so me and Coach Pugh, he started calling it like the Dave, and he's like, people are scared to come play at the Dave because it's like it's different. It's people walk in, they don't know what they're getting themselves into at the gym.
Yeah, what's the floor? Is it still like
it's
a marble
like a
floor?
white tile. Like
white tile. That's how Epiphany's floor
like
was too.
It's
like
it
cement.
Hurts
yeah, you
when
do
you
not
fall.
want to fall
like,
on that.
I'll play with the kids in class, and I'll fall, and I'll have like a big bruise the next day.
They've had that same floor for like elementary gyms since like before our parents were in like.
What are you talking about? For where?
Like, so
have you
at Eisenhower and Hoover Elementary same
in Coon
exact
Rapids?
thing, Coon Rapids. I went back to my parents' hometown in Montana, and I went to their small gym. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's like carbon footprinted. Like they don't know any other material.
Well, I'm like, I wonder. I mean, it costs a lot of money, so like and you're not. I don't know. You got elementary kids in there, so you're not gonna put in some hardwood floor.
But the hardwood
or anything,
floor has some give to it. Like at least that has like.
We need wood.
We need some wood. We need some traction. Yeah. No, like literally, we'd be slipping. Like, so I'd have my Epiphany games when I was a youth, and then I'd go to traveling practice right after, like at Westwood we were talking about before, and so I'd be on that cobblestone. I don't know what to call it, cobblestone, and you'd be slipping and sliding, and then you'd go onto a regular hardwood floor, and you'd still be slipping because your shoe traction is bad. So I had to like have one pair of shoes for this floor, and it was I don't know, it didn't work out well.
It gets we have to clean it.
Oh yeah.
Bit,
oh yeah, and the broom duty at halftime, it's like, oh, let's get all this dust.
Yep.
It's the same. That's hilarious, and it's probably the same janitor who's been doing it forever.
Yeah, Mr. Mike. I went to school with my dad.
Goodness,
awesome.
That's awesome. Sweet, Mr. Mike. Okay, so you didn't like that sales job? Yeah, I mean, whatever the company was, I'm sure it was crappy. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's a good company. It just was not
for me. Oh, 100%.
Because it was also like you had to talk. I'm not a talker.
Well, Julia, you're talking right now, so that's good. I told you we were going to get you out of your shell. What would you say as an athlete? So now you're moving into you've been coaching for a few years now, right? Mm-hmm. But what would you say your biggest accomplishment as an athlete has been, and maybe as a coach, or either or?
So as an athlete, kind of just like one of my biggest accomplishments was my freshman year at Iowa Lakes. Yeah. I didn't know this until my coach told me, but I have like the highest longest hitting streak, and still it was
Really?
21 consecutive hits.
What?
And I didn't know
21
that.
consecutive hits,
Yeah.
not 21 consecutive games?
No, like I got on, yeah, like every game. There was
21 plate
consec-
appearances in a row?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So I didn't know that because like I just kind of play.
Play
Like
to play, yeah.
I don't show much emotion, especially in softball. It's like a high
Yeah.
intensity sport.
Mhm.
So like I'm kind of the one that's just like, okay, like we got that, like.
Yeah.
So I just kind of play, and then it wasn't until like after freshman year, and they like posted it on Instagram, and then I called Coach Katie, and she was like, yeah, we just didn't want to tell you, I can't get you, didn't want to put you in a slump. I was like, okay, that's
Well,
awesome.
yeah, it's kind of like talking about a no-hitter or something going into
Yeah.
the 7th inning or 8th inning. You just don't talk about it.
Yeah, and it's kind of rare because like I was a slapper, so it's like
Yeah.
I don't hit it far. I just hit it into the ground and I run as fast as I can.
There you go.
So yeah.
And that's kind of what you've been so you just came on staff probably a few months ago now, and you've been working on some slap hitting with a high school hitter. And like, what have you been doing in sessions and whatnot?
I've kind of been. She is pretty advanced for her. Like she knows when she does something wrong, so it's
Yeah.
kind of nice having her already know that.
Yeah.
So we've been working on like the different types of slaps. So like soft slap, power, drag, bunting, kind of
Yeah.
mixing it all in. And then she's learning how to chop slap, so like hit it straight down and
Yeah.
have it bounce really high.
Yeah. And just
Um,
leg it out. Like,
yeah.
just let it stay in the air and you're just legging it out down
Yeah.
the line.
And then also kind of like placing the ball. So I'll like set up cones. 'Cause with slapping, it's all about like placing the ball where they're not. So if they move in, you want to try and hit it over. But if they stay back, that's when you want to like try and place it in like the 5-6 hole or 3-4 or whatever. But yeah, so we've been working on like placement and just when to use the different
Yeah.
types of slapping.
Is it hard to be a slap hitter when like there's a faster pitcher on the mound or a slower pitcher? Like,
It's definitely harder if there's a slower pitcher.
yeah.
Because you have to slow down your footwork.
Yeah.
But when it's like a faster pitcher, I always find it easier because you start it earlier and you beat the ball, I guess, like versus like this.
Yeah, because do you
spin.
start your run?
You start it when they kind of swing the ball like back, I guess,
Mhm.
and then that's when you start it, and then you'll meet it.
That's interesting because like when you think about bunting, like I think of bunting easier off of a slower pitcher. You would think it would be easier. It's actually harder because you have to concentrate more on your direction
yeah,
more.
there's more-
Whereas if a
more
fast
art
pitcher, you
going.
just focus on receiving the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy. It's catch ball with the bat, and yeah, I think it's more of the vertical break just with pitches. I don't know.
There's a drill that for like bunting, and I wonder if that would be similar for like slapping, but like you take like a lacrosse stick and you have them like catching.
Oh, you like basically
catching.
catch
yeah.
it.
I do that with like when we have like softball camp at TG, we do that with like our little ones, so then they're used to like having it come to you and not
Yeah.
like hitting
Okay.
it.
I think the
guess.
biggest thing with younger kids
But-
is just teaching them how to slow down. And
Yeah.
like, because they're moving too fast.
Yeah.
That's pretty
But-
much it. Yeah. Cool. And then from your standpoint, like, tell us, like, obviously through your youth years and your coaching now, like, you've had some influential people and coaches come across, like, obviously your dad too,
Mm-hmm.
but like, tell us a little bit about that and how they've impacted you. Any people that have influenced you or helped you?
My mom's a big influence on me because she is like one of the hardest workers when just her job that she does. And she's like always been my number one fan. Like I was texting her, like, she was like, good luck on the podcast. I'm like, Mom, I'm so nervous. She's like, no, like, you're fine. You're fabulous. Like, you got it. So she kind of like hypes like me up, I guess.
Yeah.
And she's always been there, whether like I need like can't. I guess if like I'm struggling like at the plate, like I can go to my dad and he'll tell me what to do, but my mom will be
Yeah.
like like a motherly nature
Yeah.
to it.
Gives you those words of affirmation
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
And my brother is a big influence on me just being an athlete, I guess.
Yeah.
Growing up, I always wanted to be like him, and people are like, why? And I don't have an answer. Like, he's just always been there for me. We're super close. He's only 2 years older than me. And so, like, him being in, like, football, my dad didn't want to put me in football because I was like really little. So like
Yeah.
I played volleyball and I was like competitive in that. And then basketball, we would play like just in the front yard basketball hoop. So like he would, you know, pull the dunk out and all that, and I would get mad and just like all that. But he kind of drove like that competitive nature in myself, and now he plays men's competitive slow pitch, and everyone's like, oh, he's so good. I'm like, okay, softball was supposed to be my sport.
Yeah.
Now he's just taking it over. But yeah, and
But that's slow pitch. You did fast pitch, so there you go.
and then my JUCO coach is a big influence on me. I still like call her and text her today.
That's awesome.
Because she was like a great softball coach, but she also like mentored you through life, I guess, being like a female athlete, and just kind of how you can like, I don't know, use your power or whatever, and know that like you might not know it, but like little girls are going to be watching you no matter where you're coaching, playing, or whatever. And the one thing she said to me was she called me in her office, and I was like, I didn't do anything wrong. You know, you get coach, like a call from coach.
You're like,
I didn't do anything wrong. And she came in and she was like, you're going to be good when you realize how good you are. Because, like, again, I just played. I never compared myself to others. I just played. And she was like, you're good, but you're not going to be good until you realize that how good you are. So it kind of just stuck with me. So now I just kind of take that into coaching now. Like, I'm a good coach, but I have to know that I'm going to be a great coach like my dad.
There you go.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. I love hearing that stuff. It sounds like you learned a lot of life lessons through sports, and that's exactly like what we're trying to do here at Complete Athlete is give that passion to kids, and they figure it out partially on their own, but then over time, like those life lessons just keep coming. It sounds like you learned it from some awesome people.
Yeah.
Your dad, your mom, your JUCO coach. Has TG sent any kids down to Iowa Lake since you went down there, or no?
No. I like talked to Coach Katie about one girl, but she ended up just going to University of Kansas just for schooling.
Just for school, yeah.
Great school.
Great school,
Can't hate it. But so no JUCO kids yet.
Okay.
Maybe some coming.
Yeah, we'll see. You know,
Yeah.
like I always talk about that because I mean, a lot of us went to AR, and I'm like, cheaper schooling. You get to play probably when you're a freshman. Then go to a 4-year after. I don't know. It's hard, like, because people have their misconceptions. About what junior college is.
Definitely a different type of breed, I guess you would say. Like,
there's
all
no different.
rules.
There's different walks of life there for sure. So you have to have a good head on your shoulders first before you do it. But you know,
it's tough because when I went to a 4-year, they would like. I wouldn't say hate on the JUCO kids, but they're like how hard is like junior college? And it's like academics. It wasn't too hard for me, but like the conditioning, waking up, and then going to like practice for this many hours, and it's like I mean, you do it all the time, like it's constant. Whereas like NCAA has rules.
Yeah, like you only can. Yeah, they can like get JUCO and NAI. So I did both those routes, and they don't have rules. NAI does. We had some guys out at fields for like 6.5 hours some days.
We had a practice. It was like 4 hours. We had to do 21 outs perfectly.
Yep.
Yeah, we were out there for a while where coach walked off the field for a few minutes, and we're like, girls, we gotta get this. I was like, we are hungry. We gotta go.
We gotta go. We gotta
now.
The cafeteria closes soon. Yeah. We gotta go. Oh, that's awesome. No, the JUCO experiences, like, I do feel like this is maybe my own personal opinion, but there's some hungry girls and guys out there that want to get better, and it sounds like you were one of them. And then there's some people that don't care, you know, and there's those types of people everywhere, you know. They're in your jobs, they're in your wherever, but what do you have like a certain, so since you're a teacher, you coach softball at Totino, you got training here at Complete Athlete once a week, what's your daily routine like, or is it all pretty different?
It's the same, and then like the afternoons get a little different.
Yeah.
So like wake up, get to school by 7, get whatever I need ready for class.
Yeah.
And then basically just teach, and then after school, like Mondays, or some days I'll have like basketball practice after school for St. Raphael's, and then I'll just come straight here. And if not, I'll just like go home. Some days I have to go work at TG for their sports events.
What do you do there?
For the boys basketball, I do the scorebook for them, the
You
official
do?
scorebook. Yeah, I like doing the scorebook for them because they're
they're really good. I was gonna go to that
Yeah.
Park Center game the other week. What happened? Because
they ended up losing by 3.
oh really?
It was a really good game. Yeah, it was packed.
Oh, I
in
bet.
there. Yeah.
I was gonna go with Tyler Fleming and his dad, but
I saw them.
I was busy, you know,
Yeah.
with complete athlete stuff that night.
They're good. I was talked to one of the coaches after the game, and he said they're probably the second best team in the state this year.
Who Totino is?
Yeah, Park Center's number 1.
Oh, are they?
They're
Don't they
good.
flip flop like every year?
Yeah, last year they were close. They're just when it comes to like they're just in different section like classes.
Oh, yeah.
Park Center's bigger,
Yeah.
obviously. But yeah, so they'll probably make another run for the state again.
Yeah, them and De La Salle again, like usual.
Probably.
Yeah.
And then the girls, I do the scoreboard or like the stats board now. They have one.
Oh, sweet.
If you didn't know. Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yep. And then if I don't have anything after school, I just go home and just hang out. I guess,
you're
with Mom
go.
and Dad.
And that kind of brings me to my next question. Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Introvert. Unless
You
you
don't
get to
say.
know me.
You
Yeah.
don't say.
I'd say like my really close friends, I'm more
Yeah.
out there, but if I'm with like new people
Yeah.
or so, I don't really kind of mute.
For sure.
But yeah.
All right. Well, we always do a little psychology 101 here. Like, so do you get, like, when you're done with your day, like after teaching and basketball practice and your sessions on Mondays and things like that, like, do you go home and you're just like done, down for the count, like you're exhausted?
Yeah.
Because you've been around so many people throughout the day
Yeah.
and you've had so many conversations and you're like, all right.
Yeah, I'll like go home. So I still live with my mom and dad, and I'll go home and they're like, Jules, how was your day? And I'll be like, good. And then I'll just go downstairs to my room. I don't really say much. Unless the Kansas Jayhawks are on.
Okay.
Then
For
I
basketball,
will be still around people. Like my dad and my brother will like all watch it downstairs together, but
Nice.
it's not like we're talking to each other. It's more sports, them yelling at the TV, me just kind of watching like, okay, guys, it's okay. But yeah.
calming the waters.
Yeah.
With no, that's how guys are though, just screaming at the TV for no
Yeah.
reason. Oh man, I actually need to get back into watching more sports this year. Like I haven't done a March Madness bracket the last.
Coming up soon.
I know, it's like right around the corner. Maybe we should do one.
It's
A CA?
It'll be a crowd.
Yeah.
I will be honest. It'll be a crazy March Madness this year.
Why is that?
Because there's a lot of like Alabama is ranked 1 right now,
Oh, they are?
and they haven't been good in quite some time. And Kentucky is really bad.
That's weird.
And
Yeah, it's
North
flipped.
Carolina's like the first one out.
Oh, are they
They're-
right
they're
now?
not
Yeah,
doing
North
well
Carolina
either.
is they're a fringe
Weird.
team right
the
now.
Blue
Yeah.
Bloods. The Blue
Yeah.
Bloods are gone.
They just had
What about Duke?
not ranked.
What?
Yeah, they just said, I think it was
First year,
Seth.
John Shire's not working
Yep.
out. Coach K's gone.
Yeah, he's gonna come out of retirement. Yeah, they
Lose
just
Coach
had
K, and then everything's over.
they just had college game day at Lawrence because they just played
Yeah.
Baylor, and they were like the Blue Bloods. Kansas is the only one. Everyone else is like a light blue, like Seth Greenberg. Was
Oh, that's
just, I was like,
hilarious.
yes, Kansas
There-
staying on top.
There you go. Why do you like the Jayhawks so much?
My dad always liked them, so you kind of just grew up in a house where
yeah.
that was like the team. Like my dad liked him when like Roy Williams was the coach,
Yeah.
and then
I remember, and then he went over to UNC after that, right?
yep,
Yeah.
and then Bill Self came in, and then
Yep.
that's when like Seth
Bill
and I
Self's
were-
still there?
Yeah, he's like on a life contract.
Oh, is
Like
he?
he'll never leave.
Nice.
There, I don't think.
There you go.
But
That's
yeah,
what you got
it's
to do with
kinda
those
good
good coaches.
But my brother takes the games way more serious than I do,
Oh, yeah.
to say the least.
I feel that.
he's-
What about the Cyclones against the Jayhawks? I mean, obviously the Cyclones have had some good years, but
They're
are they rivals or not really?
yeah.
Yeah.
We just lost to them.
Boom, shakalaka.
Yeah, there's a kid that plays there from TG.
Oh really? Oh yeah.
Demarion Watson.
Oh yeah, he just graduated last year.
But it's I guess the Big 12 this year is the hardest conference. More than half the teams are ranked.
Wow.
Mhm.
Dang. We'll see what happens. I mean, obviously Minnesota is not in that combo. They're really bad this year.
Mm-hmm.
Really bad. So we'll see if they ever turn that around. Let's get back to softball. So what do you feel is the most rewarding part of coaching and training?
With coaching, I would say it's when you see in their heads that something finally clicked, like they understand and they're like, they get why we're doing that drill or like why we do it in a game, and just seeing their like faces like change, like, oh, like I get it. Or last year we had like our center fielder, she never threw anyone out before, and it was like we were playing St. Anthony, and she got the ball in center, one bounce, and she fired the ball home and got her out. And I don't think I've ever jumped off my bucket so high, cheering so loud for her. So like it was like those moments where you see them succeed, because like you know how much hard work they put in to do it correctly, and then finally doing it. And same with like training lessons, like doing a drill over and over where they finally get the drill and like they do it, I guess. Like I put a bucket and she has to like hit the bucket when she's slapping, so when she hits it I can see in her face like, oh, I got it, like I can do it. So it's stuff like that.
Yeah, because it's like all the time that you put in, like sometimes kids get frustrated because they're not able to do it right away, especially in this instant gratification society we live in now. And then when they finally do something, whether it's in a game or in training sessions, then their whole persona changes, and they're like their smile from ear to ear, and you're like, yep, that's why we do what we do. So there you go. I love it. That's awesome. No, you do a really good job with that, with the girls that you work with, and we look forward to having more softball players in at Complete Athlete here going forward. What are you well, I guess for you as a coach, like what are you currently working on to improve your coaching?
So I'm definitely a player's coach. I guess. So especially coaching high school girls and being young, they come to me a lot about anything. So just kind of preparing them for the next level, whether it's like they want to go play on or like just like succeeding in life or whatever. So when the girls graduate, I always tell them like if you need anything, just like call me. If you're like, college can be stressful, so if they like get stressed, I'm like, just call me. So just knowing that like you're always there for them, whether they're a part of TG or not anymore, I guess. So just like always being there for them. And I don't know, I'm pretty good at noticing when someone is getting upset, so I just kind of always pull them to the side and just talk to them.
Absolutely.
So just kind of keep preparing the girls, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's a good that's a huge skill that any coach needs to learn, because it's not like my way or the highway anymore. I mean, all of us coaches here, we're player coaches because we understand, like, you don't know what's going on with the girl or the boy outside of the session or practice or whatever. Like something totally different could be going on. Maybe they don't even need you to train them or coach them that day. They just need somebody to like talk to and like get all their stress out on, and so they can move on through whatever adversity they're going through.
Like, great. Yeah, the girl that slaps, she always talks to me like the first like 5 minutes just about how school was, the tests coming up and all that. So I'm like, oh, the high school days and like finals and everything. So it's like,
I know.
Oh, it's kind of fun to hear like not like a girl, for someone that doesn't go to like that same high school I went. So it's like different level of like stress that she can have, I guess. So just trying to help her through that too.
Yeah. Does she know she can reach out to you anytime?
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome.
I do wish she come play at TG.
That's a good point. Like, what would you say is like the most effective way to like make those kids feel comfortable enough to reach out to you? Because I never reached out to my high school coaches after I was done with high school. That's something that for me, like, I never felt comfortable doing. So like as hearing it from the different perspective of you guys, like it sounds like you guys have built trust with the players. So or so maybe there's something else that you think is key.
I honestly think it's just because I'm a girl and like they can't go to my
Well, that's one reason why we brought
Yeah.
Julia in here to be a softball instructor, because it's
because I mean when I was there, like if I needed to vent to someone, it was my dad. And then in my head I'm like, it'd be so nice to have someone younger that I didn't have to talk to someone like an old dad. I mean, he's great, like he takes them like they're his own daughters, but having someone like being young, going through the same thing you did, and like
or just recently gone through it.
Yeah, and
with
then
them,
just kind of like I'm a very like understanding person, and I'm more of like obviously like a listener, so they know like I'll listen to them, and I find myself a very nice person, so it's just kind of
Julia, really?
That way.
Yeah,
Goodness, you don't sound nice at all.
I don't know. I wouldn't have said that. I kind of get the feeling like you holding a grudge against me or something. I'm just kidding.
So just like I don't know, just having them understand like that you're not. I always tell them like if you need to tell me something, I won't tell my dad unless it's like super serious.
You're that confidant right there.
Yeah, I'm like the in between. Like I won't tell my dad unless it's like
serious.
But
yeah.
I haven't had to. It hasn't been that far yet.
So all right.
Hopefully, it never gets that far.
There you go. Well, you're a player coach, so that's awesome, and I know you do a really good job at it. So definitely, whoever is listening to this is gonna have to watch some TG softball games, maybe a TG SLP game or something this year. Last but not least, what is your own definition of what a complete athlete is?
It would be like having a good, one, academics, just because I'm a teacher, is always important, because you're not just like an athlete. Like
100%.
You cannot classify as just being an athlete. And also like having a good mindset now with like the mental health area, like knowing if you're not 100% mentally, that it's like okay to take like a break. Like even if you need a day off, 2 days, and then just being like determined that you want what you want your end goal to be would make like a complete athlete. Like you don't have to be the strongest, you don't have to be the toughest, but just like knowing
what you want,
your limits, and what your goals are.
Absolutely.
And the classroom.
I love that definition. I think that fully encompasses everything that we preach here at Complete Athlete. So where can listeners find you online? I know you're very active online. I actually don't know if you are or not.
I don't really post much, but I have Twitter, Instagram.
What are the handles? We'll post it in the description.
It's just at Julia Sullwood.
Okay.
Very original.
No period in there.
No, it's just my first and last name.
For both of them, same thing? Twitter
yeah.
and Instagram. Cool.
I think Twitter's that.
Hey, my podcast is literally my first name too, so don't worry.
There we go.
It works out.
Yeah, I don't really tweet much. It's just mainly to keep up on the world.
Sports.
Yeah.
Sports. Yeah.
Sports.
You name it. But thanks for coming on, Julia. It was awesome having you on, and I don't think you're as introverted as you think.
Well.
And that's all. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.